Good morning, everyone. Team David Meltzer has joined. Let's pin up Friday's trainings on procrastination. And I'm going to talk about how the ego is intertwined in procrastination, how we can effectuate procrastination, how your personality traits and characteristics can be impacted with procrastination. It's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, live training, free training on Fridays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. All you got to do is email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you missed training last week, please, you can reach us. It's featured today on Spotify. There's a playlist of all my trainings on Spotify. Please join us. We had the seeking approval training last Friday, and it went extraordinarily well. So if you want the exercises, the guides, if you want my book, which includes a lot of this information, just go ahead, david@dmeltzer.com or 949-298-2905 to join my text community. And you can join that text community anytime, 949-298-2905. Just text me and we will be able to text each other. That'd be awesome. Anyway, let's get some questions rolling here. It is Monday morning. It is a great day. Any new book recommendations? There's so many that I have. I just got one on leadership. I haven't read it. So Think and Grow Rich is still my old favorite. Toe check. Hold on, I just gotta grab this kid 1 second. Let's see here. Tammy.
Hello,
Hi, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you, sir?
You look very well. You look rested. You look healthy. That's good.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you so much.
Well, I have a few minutes. I thought maybe you could ask me. You have such intriguing questions. Do you have a good question for me?
Okay, so let me think of a good question now.
All right, well, let me ask you one real quick, Tammy. What was the biggest lesson you learned last week?
The biggest lesson I learned last week is that no matter how much you feel like you are prepared for what life has to offer or what could come, you should still always keep an open mind and be ready to learn. I learned that last week. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I also seek people with open minds. It's a rule of mine that it takes more energy to re-engineer someone with a closed mind than 1,000 people with an open mind. So statistically, as connected as the world is, I seek people with open minds more than their opinions, their judgments, their conditions, or their actions. If they have an open mind, I then am able to share with them and re-engineer with them a mutual understanding, a mutual respect, happiness, productivity, accessibility, and most importantly, as you know, gratitude. All right, man, we got 2 minutes. Give me one question.
Let me ask you a quick fire question. I know most of the people following you here are people that run businesses. They are people that are so invested in developing themselves. Now, how do they deal with pressure? How do they deal with, pressure that they put on themselves and pressure that the environment puts on them as well? And how do they keep growing through that, even with all the pressure around them? Yeah.
So pressure is like suffering, right? So pressure is like suffering. Suffering is a process by which we find the light, the love, and the lessons in what we're doing. And so these entrepreneurs, as you say, these small business owners, these people who desire that they must be what they can be, they must first accept that they're on a journey of learning. They're on a journey of learning. And once you accept you're on a journey of learning, then the suffering and the pain are the expectant behaviors. One, pain indicating that I have suffering coming, meaning that I have a process to learn a lesson, to find the light or the love in it. And in order to effectuate that, I must not see pain as a stop sign, as you have indicated with these people. How do they keep pursuing their potential? Because they have the journey of learning in mind, that this is not some end-based emotional aspect of what they're trying to do. Anyone that's in personal development knows that we're never fully developed. And so therefore, we're trying to accelerate and learn and grow as much as we can in that development. And that's why I'm so excited always and give you priority on my live, because you are accelerating at such a pace that as things double at your very young age, I can't wait to see the nations that you lead and the peace that you provide and the empowerment of happiness around the world that I know working together with you, that you and I can achieve. You are my youngest 1,000, one of those 1,000s that empower others to be happy. And so, Temi, you are the man. You please join me at least once a week. I'm always looking for you on there. Please show up.
For sure. And I'd like to end it with this statement. We always have to keep on learning, because the moment we stop learning, we start dying. Thank you very much for having me in your life. I really appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. Keep on learning. Take care. That's right. Just remember, if a flower stops growing, it's dying. How do we grow as human beings? We learn. When you stop learning, you start dying. So keep on learning. Just like my man Temi says, Tech _ media, my dear friend, the youngest of the Meltzer 1000, empowering others to empower others to be happy. What a great thing that is. All right. Is Andrea here? I kind of got lost into my own ways. Let me see here. My swiminista. I see her here. All right. Oh, I didn't. What happened? I joined you. Let's try this again. Send a request. Waiting. Here we go. Sorry. Andrea Bernholtz, the CEO and design director at Swiminista. There she is.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am so excited. Number one, it's going to be an incredible week. But two, to start it off with you. And Temi gave me a little surprise visit. I don't know if you saw him, but he makes my heart sing. My young little friend from around the world who helps other people at such a young age with wisdom. But
I love that.
it was cool. Last Friday, I did a training on seeking approval. And you are an icon for learning to love you. And I taught that in the training about we can't find outside of ourselves what we don't find inside of ourselves. And I think all of these are quite appropriate and aligned with you, your business, your mission. And so I was hoping maybe you could help explain how you evolved into learning to love yourself and then helping other people do the same.
Well, I have to say it's a constant work in progress. And I don't wake up every day like, woo, this is perfect, So I definitely have my highs
You
and
don't?
lows,
Come on. You got to be
Okay, do you
kidding
want me to
me.
lie? No, I think,
No, I'm just waiting. The only person that would say that he does that, it seems like he just lost the presidency, but I don't want to get political. He's probably the only one that does that every single day out of sociopathic behavior more than humility.
Well, I just try for myself to remind myself of, like, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm feeling super negative, I try to just sit down for a few minutes, whether you call it meditation, whether you call it visualization, whatever it is. And I just try to clear the path in my head of what I want at the end of the day, how I want to succeed, what I'm super grateful for, whether it be the most simple things, just breathing in air, being able to walk, the basic fundamentals. And then when you start to grow from there, you realize you can do anything. We're all qualified. We just have to remind ourselves and pull it out of ourselves.
And the other part about that strength that we are practicing, the internal strength that we're practicing to have the perspective that, we love ourselves, that we are this unbelievable ball of potential, is once we have that confidence that we can then help other people. And with your venture, you guys do a lot that with relativity and related things to swimming to help our environment, to help women in general. I think it's really important that we can't give what we don't have. So all of those humanitarians out there and the philanthropists out there, I had to make a shift in my 30s to make sure that I'm loving myself, that I'm taking care of myself, because I can take care of so many more people now by shifting that paradigm from, oh, I give everything for everyone else. I love the sentiment of that, but eventually you're going to run out. Yeah. And so I was hoping Two, have you gone through any type of receiving issues as far as through the process of learning to love yourself, feeling comfortable receiving so that you are empowered to help others?
Yeah, it's interesting because receiving positive accolades, I think for a lot of us is uncomfortable for whatever reason. But I think once you receive them, it actually empowers yourself. And then, I have a small young daughter and I want her to be empowered. So I sometimes like I bring myself up a little more for her. If I'm feeling down, I think, well, no, I have to be the example. I have to show. And whenever I do that, I push through whatever negative things or feelings I have. COVID really took everyone for a spin. And, then I kind of freaked out like everyone. And then I reset myself and came back with a better website, fit guides, so that I could concentrate on, getting good fits for women. We did more cleanups in the beaches and walkways and hiking paths. And, I also reached out personally to a lot of women who were doing the, getting fit during COVID and losing weight during COVID. And I would send them positive messages like, hey, you know what? My gosh, you just lost weight. Good for you. And you deserve a swimsuit, come shopping. And so I was encouraging them, but also benefiting my business at the same time. But I think it's all, when it comes from an organic place, people see that. I'm trying to help women feel empowered, no matter what size or shape that you are. And, making adjustable swimwear, making comfortable swimwear, making it chic, making it super eco-friendly. Our suits are made out of recycled plastic bottles and it feels like stretched silk. It's amazing, and so I feel like I'm helping the planet and I'm helping women. And now we've done a collaboration with Christian Lacroix. And, that's super exciting for me. So I get my little French influence with these amazing prints and I get to share that with women. It's phenomenal.
And there, throughout all of that, just to give people perspective too, you're still an entrepreneur, which means you have employees and overhead. What's your biggest challenge? When we are compassionate capitalists and you have to challenge yourself not only to help women and to help the environment and to help our beaches. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But we also have this pragmatic world where, as I'm sure that you have, like I have, employees and overhead internally rely on you, and there's a lot of challenges to be a compassionate capitalism. What's one of the biggest challenges that you face in taking the perspective that you do in business?
Is separating what I need in my business and the human being. I think historically back when I was at Rockland Republic, I didn't give people a chance. I was really cut and dry. You made a mistake, you were out. Now I try to really work with people and mold them. I really feel that that's going to help them grow, even though it might be hard for them and they may be mad at me sometimes, because I'm very particular about how I like things, what I want. And inevitably, I'm getting what I want for the company because I'm getting my needs met. And inevitably, they're learning something and how to be better for themselves as well, whether it be more organized, showing up, lots of different aspects of it. But I think it's the win-win that I always like to go with. They're winning, we're winning. So like you really can't go wrong there.
No, not at all. And last question along those lines is I went through that same transition, in your 20-year career since the Rockland Republic. There comes then the other side of it as you start giving more people and empowering more people. Then you get caught into the education of, well, when is enough and cutting it off? How do you decide, as you've given people more chances over the last 20 years, how do you decide when enough is enough now? Because I've kind of shifted back to fire fast. I went from firing fast to like never firing to like firing fast again. Where are you in that sphere right now?
Well, I think every single person, it's an individual case-by-case basis. I think if somebody's truly trying and you see that they've grown and you see that they are growing, that they have that capacity if they're open to it. And if you see a personality that, generally attacks or defends themselves, they're going to have a little bit more resistance, and I don't have time for that. And if they want to, fight their own battles and work through what they need to, right on, but can't always do it on my dime. But if you're willing to do the work and in a positive way, then I'm willing to work with you.
You're amazing. You brought this interview full circle from where we were with Tammy, right? We look for people with open minds because it takes as much energy to convert a closed-minded employee as 1,000 open-minded employees, which is a great point, which we're so grateful for your open mind of redesigning, re-engineering the swimsuit industry for women, for our environment, to create the prints and the threads and the distribution and the messaging and communication, and continually to expand that community has such a great impact. And a lot of people couldn't realize, oh, you know, a swimsuit designer, what impact could she have on the world? Well, you're having quite an impact on the world. And I have 3 daughters who also look up to you as an entrepreneur. So on that respect as well, it's always easier to overachieve the things that we see than overachieve the things that we haven't seen. So you have set the bar very high for so many young women that can create their passions into profitability and, more importantly, into this compassionate capitalistic society that we should all have to increase and expand. So thank you so much. People can find you
Thank
at
you.
Swiminista. Where else can they find you besides at Swiminista?
Well, on our swiminista.com site right now, you know, due to COVID, a lot of our wholesalers have kind of closed down in some of the resorts. So really, if you go to our fit guide, you can get the perfect fit for your body. Swiminista.com. It's swim, INISTA. And we hope to see you there.
You will. I have plenty of customers for you just in my own home. So thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you
Thank
again,
you.
Andrea. Great job. Congrats.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Sure. All right. What a great entrepreneur and person. See, it doesn't have to, I mean, it's going to be challenging, right? We're going to go through that struggle, that suffering, that pain as entrepreneurs, but it's so worth it when you see people like Andrea that actually have such a huge impact in an area that most people may not have thought you could. Designing women's swimsuits may have been arbitrary and capricious 20 years ago, and look at the impact that you can have. All right, let's take some questions. Adam, I see you there, my friend. I see you hiding out. I got a thumbs up from you. That means a lot. Thank you for coming on live. What was your key to outselling everyone while you were at West Publishing? Well, I was just outselling myself, and the key was the power of 64. The power of 64 was the original productivity, accessibility, and gratitude perspective, the Meltzer kaleidoscope. Basically, what I said was I was 24 years old. Most of the other people were in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, one even in their 70s. I've been doing this 20, 30, 40 years. So I figured on average, the best of these guys were 8 hours productive a day. So I knew I didn't have the skills or the knowledge that they had. So I would be better off spending twice as many productive hours. So I took their 8 and made it 16. Then I knew, and if I stayed clear, balanced, and focused on what I want, I could create efficiencies by studying my calendar and creating systems of things that I do personally and professionally every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, and creating these systems knowing that if I could save 4 minutes a day, it turned into 24 hours of productivity in a year. And if I was only 24 years old, that's 3 full days of productivity a year. You know, by the time I was their age, 30 years from now, you know, I would have 60 full days and be able to, with math, you know, even perform better. So 2 times 16 days was 32 hours of productivity. And then because it was sales, I could have a quantitative statistical success. So I kept my eye on, out of this many prospects, this many interviews, this many meetings, this is how many sales. And if I could make twice as many out of every 10, that I could take 8 hours of productivity and make it 64 hours of productivity a day. And then the last thing capper was I was no longer ever going to work. I was only going to have activity I got paid for, activity I didn't get paid for. I was going to work consistent, persistent in the pursuit of my potential. 2 minutes a day worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. So I was going to have 64 hours of productivity 7 days a week. That's 56 days of productivity in 1 week. No wonder I outsold everyone. I didn't really outsell them. I outmapped them. And I always say my favorite was, you know, getting all the accolades, awards. I love getting paid as well. But 9 months into it, what I loved about it was to specifically tell them, look, I didn't even hit my comp plan. I just had to productive of 10 years in literally 9 months. And so that's how I made over $1 million in 9 months working. How about productivity on bed? Yeah, your sleep's the most important thing that you can have, right? Is when we're there. Thank you so much, Kamal. Everyone, my cell phone number, I see this guy. I would love for you to call me and tell me why you're so angry. But just my cell phone number, anybody's welcome to call me, 858-688-3294. So we see Kamal with his negativity. I'd love to see why he's so angry. So just give me a call. I would love that. Thank you. All right, Tracy, Colin, everybody give me a call. It's fine. If you want to join my training on procrastination this Friday, free, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's david@dmeltzer.com. You could text me at 949-298-2905. Would love to have that there. Thank you so much. Repeat my cell phone, 858-688-3294. Feel free to call me. I'm trying to encourage people to reach out and ask for help. As much as I do that, people don't do it, especially attacking people, negative people. They're too afraid to talk and let me understand why they're so upset. Would love for you to call me, my friend. Any of you out there, love it. All right, cool. Thank you. I will make time for you. Let's take some more questions. Are you a motivational speaker? I'm an inspirational speaker. Motivational speakers is a small component. Those are people that can get you up, get you back up, get you started, get you back started. Important component. I like to teach people how to get there. Inspired action, in spirit, clearing the connection. Hey, thanks, Kamal. I prefer you use funny jokes and positive jokes, but give me a call, brother. I still would like to talk to you, believe it or not. I want to understand where you're coming from and how I can be of service to you. Please just call me. Anybody. That's literally, I'm looking for 1,000 people to be happy. If you're not happy, I want to learn human nature, why people are unhappy. Why would you waste your time in negativity? Why would you attack, put judgments, conditions, right? So perfect. You can prank call me. I like prank calls as well. Awesome. Here we go. Thank you. I love your approach. Hard work, heart, and strong. Thank you. All right, let's keep this rolling. What roles do dreams play in your life and plans? Well, it's the first mathematical advantage I have is a dream, because until you imagine it, you're in the state of nothingness. So zero, nothing. When the minute you dream of something, you imagine it, it is now a possibility. The minute you dream it, it's a possibility, a mathematical advantage over nothingness. Then if I can teach you to be inspired, you can make that possibility a probability. Then pragmatically, like a 3D printer, if I could take your probability and teach you through strategy, discipline, and awareness how to materialize that idea, that inspiration, how to materialize it. Like a 3D printer materializes data that comes into it and then it forms itself into a material thing. If I can teach you how to do that through discipline, strategy, and awareness, you can then manifest or get anything that you want. But the first step that most people don't do is imagine. They don't dream. And so that's why sleep's so important, like Kamal was pointing out for us. That's why dreaming is so important, imagining, meditation, all of these things. That's the original data set that comes through you to materialization. So that's what we want to do. Are there any mantras you are focusing on now? Always, I am worthy. I am worthy. The more worthy I am, the more I can ask in person, on the phone, via email, media, radio, print, TV, social media, the more I can receive. So it will come through me, the more humility I'll have in my life. And so I repeat a mantra that I'm worthy of everything I do receive, am receive, and will receive. Free will, we'll see. We will see what we will. We will. Do emotions play a role in success? Absolutely. It's about 1/5 of the role. Emotions are how we connect. People bound emotion for logical reasons. So that's going to be a part of that conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum. Does struggle strengthen us? So physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, struggle is expansion, right? Struggle is the process of learning, finding the light, the love, and the lessons and everything. So no doubt. But does it have to have a negative connotation to it, struggle? No. it just depends. Do you get to do it or you got to do it? When you are, working out, do you get to do it or got to do it? Here we go. One more question here, and then we'll take a new guest. What's your favorite NBA team? We'll take 2 questions. That's an easy one. The LA Lakers, and I miss my Laker companion, Diane Cannon. I missed you this season. Figures it's the one season they won. Religion or humanity? Religion or humanity? So I think they're both intertwined. Everyone has their own religions and is part of humanity. So I don't think there's a choice there. Let's see here. When being of service, then having an ask for you every time, follow an ask of them as well as an ask for. Yeah, so there's 2 series of questions. One of the series of questions is, how can I be of service to you? How can I be of value to you? And the other series of question is to ask, do you know anyone that can help me? Expanding your network to thousands and thousands of people. Is my friend Brandon Steiner here? We'll see here. Jakey Bake. I didn't see Brandon here yet. I have him in here coming on. Sorry, I'm looking through. I'll answer some more questions. Let me know if he's coming on. How do you get out of feeling stagnant? So stuck, not knowing where to start or where to go next. For me, I get stuck getting stuck. I believe in the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of potential. I think that, success is like a piece of grass. It's growing so easy, soft, and the moist dirt, and then it comes up to the hard granite on the surface, and I'm stuck. Why? Because you're almost there. You're almost there, and you're strengthening until you get strong enough to break through. Just like a butterfly stuck in a cocoon. It beats and beats its wings until, believe it or not, it's strong enough to break through. That means it's strong enough to fly. So you're just struggling to build enough to fly, to go higher, to grow, to accelerate, and learn. So you're awesome. Chelsea or United? Chelsea. Best game I've been to, Chelsea, Man City. Man City actually won 1-0. It was the best one that I had ever been to. I do not think Brandon Steiner is here, so not a problem. Let's answer some more questions. How will another lockdown change things for you? Another lockdown is just change, right? There's another lockdown. I will get focused on my capabilities, my skills, my knowledge of who and what, and my desire, and align it with what's doing well in this next lockdown, what's stable in the next lockdown, and what I think will do well after the lockdown. So we should be working through that as well. And here we go. How do you manage your ego? Well, number 1, 4 steps. You need to be a ferocious Buddha. The first step is to identify ego. Ego edges goodness out of our life. Ego is not your amigo. Ego is Eve. It's people who define themselves by what they do, right? Their employment status. E, employment status, what they do. O, G, people define themselves by what they got, right? And give. Got and give. The G, people define themselves O, E-G-O, what other people think. So in order to manage your ego, you have to, it's a practice, number 1. So that's a good word, manage. It's never going away. You can't give yourself an egoectomy. What you need to do is stop when you identify the primary needs of the ego, the flight, fee, fight, or the other F word, or the secondary needs of the ego. The secondary needs are the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be resentful and guilty and separate and inferior and superior and anxious and frustrated and angry, and all these negative feelings that people give, attacking thoughts and judgments on others. And we need to stop, drop, and roll. When you're an ego-based emotion, you are on fire, and you need to stop, drop, and roll. Here we go. Oh, the legend, Sideways legend. What's up, B?
How you doing? What's going on, man?
Every time I see you, my energy just goes up because it's like, it's a piece of normalcy for me. Like a friend, how I normally get to see all year round at a variety of different events, and in New York especially, and same field, and you and I share the same perspective of how business and sports and family and fun and health, and we're kind of more the Buddhas of sports than anything else. And I know you have the collectible exchange now. I'm not sure in the history of collectibles have been more on fire than right now. So you must be in heaven with the amount of collectibles that you have and the business that you have. Why during the pandemic have collectibles just skyrocketed?
It's a good question. First, I love the work you're doing, by the way, Dave. I follow you religiously. So,
Thank you,
and what I
brother.
love about your game is that it's improving. It's just your depth of enabling to help people, because I love helping people, but I also realize that not everybody's in a position to be helped. So you got to change speeds. You got to change the message, move things around. I love the way you're doing that, because, people need to be helped in different ways. They need to hear the stories differently. And I think you've done a great job doing that. Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm just a young guy here, just starting this new company. I love it. I mean, and what I love about it is the amount of do good I'm able to do. A lot of the auctions, and people want to, for some reason, they went home, they realized how much stuff they got. They don't know what it's worth. They want to downsize, and they want to go to somebody they trust. So I'm able to help them liquidate their collections, which a lot of, the older people are sitting with a lot of great stuff. The younger people are excited about the stuff. So there's not a whole lot else to buy these days. Like, you're not buying clothes, you're not going on vacations, you're not buying cars maybe. So I think people are just kind of bored a little bit. And this is kind of stuff that you can kind of relive positive memories, which you need. You need to just relive the positive stuff if right now things are a little bit doomy and gloomy. For me, it's been really exciting with this, this make good, this start over. I've been able to lock in and help people with their collections, sell their stuff, raise a lot of money for charity. We just closed 2 auctions. We just raised 150 grand for 2 charities. We did a charity, I think, for our WNBA. We raised $75,000, I think it was. At Indy, we raised 100 and something thousand. Form of eBay, so you can go on there and sell your stuff easily, is that a lot of people change their mind and say, I really don't need the money, but I want to downsize. And they end up donating it to charities and stuff like that. So I have, I think, 60,000 items on the site already. It's growing like weeds.
Yeah, I've watched, as much as I appreciate the recognition and acknowledgement, I do the same for you, because our careers have adjusted, re-engineered, evolved, and changed. But always, I think our intentions, successes and failures throughout what we've done have always been good. And you've always been gracious in that respect to the people around you, of being and doing your best to do that. What do you think? I built Sports One Marketing with Warren 11 years ago under the auspice of your collectible exchange, meaning that, nothing sells better than the irrationality of middle-aged men. And now, though, it seems like with the millennials, they've kind of taken it to the next level, that people buy on emotion for logical reasons. And especially now in the pandemic, it's like you said, the way we feel about something is far more important than the quantitative value, that the perceived value of how we feel about it. And, for example, let me see if I have, this is my most valuable collectible. I'm not putting it up for sale yet, but this is the only Topps PSA 10 certified Dave Meltzer first pitch card.
Did you throw a strike?
What?
Did you throw a strike?
Knuckleball strike. I got the video to prove it.
Nice
Highlight of my whole career. That small Jewish guy career that you're familiar with.
I think we're at an interesting time, because again, there's a high spike in COVID. We've been kind of almost like frozen with this politics stuff that's going on, which, regardless of what side you're on, it's definitely weighs on you, regardless of what position you're taking. And I think what I've found right now is this is a good time to go thinking about doing something for someone else. If you're home and you're procrastinating and you're not able to get another job at this moment, go find somebody you can help. Go find something you can do to be of value to someone else. The best way to have a good friend is to be a good friend. The best way to be, want your employer to step up and be a better employer, be a better employee. Step up and figure out a way, and do it with faith. Do it with class, and do it with the ability that you trust that the goodness out there. By putting out good, you'll get back good. Just do some good. Figure
Yeah.
out a way to do some good, whether it be for a neighbor, a client you haven't heard from in a while. You know, a lot of people are stressing and pressing. So I really take about an hour a day just to reach out to people and just check in, say something funny, whatever. You know, it's, you know, you definitely have more time right now. You got to realize you have more time you've had in a while. You're not commuting, maybe, you're not traveling. So now there's a little more time on your hands to think a little bit more, and that becomes dangerous. And sometimes it becomes a slippery slope if you don't keep yourself busy. What I say today is get busy helping someone, whether it be your employer, a fellow employee, a client, a friend, a neighbor. Go reach out and do something nice. And you'll be surprised at how much better you'll feel, not to mention the good that you'll be doing.
It's so true. And to that end, too, I tell people that need healing, I said, if you help someone else heal, if you do something for someone, if you're anxious, frustrated, depressed, separate, and you go and even pick up trash, do even an action if it's not even involving someone else, it's a mathematical, a physical, metaphysical impossibility not to feel better. Real quick, last thing on the collectible exchange, because there's so many of our friends and out there in this business, and they're just all going crazy. You know, I'm looking at this morning thinking, yeah, should I go buy like a Justin Herbert jersey and get him to sign it for me? You know, you see and have seen this business evolve through all types of change, including the pandemic. You know, if you were starting all over and you were buying something for your grandson, you know, and he's 10 years old, and you said, you know what, this is going to be something that he'll retire on when he's 65. What would you buy right now for your 10-year-old to retire on when he's 65?
I mean, so many things. I just remember, I'm going through with my son now. I bought him so many things when he was 10. First of all, I'd always buy my 10-year-old some stuff, even as quirky and corny as it is. I'd follow their feeling for it, even if it doesn't make sense to you, because it's a good chance down the road to be worth some money. My kid was all into Pokemon cards, and now they're through the roof 20 years later,
Yeah.
literally, and we're going to get some good money on those Pokemon cards. So, you know, follow your kids, follow that logic with your kids, and even if it doesn't make sense to you. But I think from an investment standpoint, you know, obviously you can go play around with some rookie cards if you want, and start collecting some of those over the next year or two. But I also still like the vintage stuff while you can get it. There's a transition of power going on where a lot of older people, the baby boomers, who are the most eccentric, greatest collectors of all time, our age bracket is at the tail end of it, but there's a lot of baby boomers in their 70s that are downsizing and have now realize that they don't need all this stuff, and maybe their kids don't want it. So there's a really good time to go get vintage stuff, and maybe the last time where there'll be this much vintage stuff from the 60s, 70s, 50s around that you can actually pick up. And if you have a feeling for it, if your kids are grooving on a little bit of the past, which not always they are, I'm a fan of that. And I'll tell you another thing, I'm a fan of some rock and roll memorabilia too. The albums are starting to come back and they're getting hot. And I know your kid probably says, "What's an album? Or what's a VHS tape?" But I'm a big fan of collecting some albums too. But I go back and buy some vintage stuff now, even from the 60s and 70s, and certainly the 50s, a little more pricey, because it'll be the last time there'll be this transformation on this level of buying, selling.
Oh, I lost his mind. Can you hear me, Brandon? Because I couldn't hear you. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? You can hear me. Yeah, I can't hear you, but it's interesting because I was talking to Dr. J, and you know, I said, isn't it amazing that one of your cards is worth more than you made in your early years of playing? And so I'm hoping. All right, I'll talk to you later, my friend. We'll keep on talking. Thank you, Brandon. All right, great, Brand. Go to Collectible Exchange at Brandon Steiner is where you find them. If you have collections, if you have vintage stuff, if you want to help out charities, that's a great place to go. I know Dan Fleischman has his card shop and the coffee shop, and Gary and all the boys are involved. Aoki, everybody's working around this. There's plenty of great stuff out there. I know Josh Luber, who used to be with StockX. Look up these guys. Brandon is a great guy, and I love all of them because they're all giving back. They're all giving back at Brandon Steiner, legend in sports, Steiner Sports. Just Google it. I mean, Derek Jeter, Eli Manning, Mark Messier, Carmelo Anthony, just to name a few guys that I know that he's worked with over the years. Thank you, though. Great business. I wanted to get that on. I had Dan on last week as well. Want people to start thinking about segmentation, how things change over 20, 40, or 60 years. And collectibles are things that look historically. Human nature never changes. There'll be good times, bad times. There'll be different times when people are emotionally more attached to these collectibles than ever, and you want to be on the right side of that buying and the right side of the selling. Buy low, sell high. Things will evolve. I love the fact, the Pokemon story, because I know there's several things that I bought my son, who's now 10, and my wife's like, why are you wasting so much money on him? He would buy like boxes and boxes of baseball, football, basketball cards. Now I'm like, oh, because I can pay for college with it. Oh, sometimes you luck out. All right. Anyway, let's take one more question. Training on Friday is don't procrastinate, all about procrastination and the ego intertwined in procrastination. Last week training was seeking approval. All my trainings are featured on Spotify, so check it out there, the playbook. It's on Entrepreneur, the playbook, on all platforms, the playbook. You can check it out. If you haven't applied for my new TV show on Bloomberg, please do. 2-minute drill. It's a pitch competition. Go ahead, dmeltzer.com/pitch. Please, we're looking $50,000 of cash and prizes every episode. Come, please try out. Go ahead. Season 2 will be in June. Season 1 will be on Bloomberg and Amazon in January. We're filming in December. So please join us. That's going to be amazing. Let's take another question here. And your insight into business integrity. So looking here, look, integrity is personal. There's a perception involved, but it's about your values. Are you integral with yourself, your personal experiential giving and receiving values? How close can the truth can you be? Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Forgive yourself when you've made those mistakes. Be accountable for making them. Ask yourself, what did I do in all situations to attract this to myself? And 2, what am I supposed to learn from it? Live with gratitude to find the light, the love, and the lessons in your integrity, and know that you're not perfect. Perfect. So looking good here. What is the best way to make continuous investments in the currency of faith? Feel like I have momentum. So faith is the other currency. Money is a currency, so you can do the math. Easy, quantify the math of a currency called money, an object of energy you put into flow to get what you want. 2, faith is a currency. If you extract time in a decision-making process, you then can determine what level or spectrum or sphere of faith that you have in order to effectuate what you should do intuitively. If you have multiple lifetimes, you can make a decision differently than if you only are looking at the currency of money and what would best benefit you today. You got it. All righty. Please join me Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Free training, free guides, exercises. I'll send you my book, sign it, ship it to you. David@dmeltzer.com. You can join my text community, 949-298-2905. Pin below right there. You can look at it, David@dmeltzer. Text me 949-298-2905. I look forward to being here every day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do